Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Thank you for joining. So excited for us to have this conversation today with some really good friends. Everyone, this is to be an interactive webinar. So you're sitting there, you've got questions, you've got concerns, type them into the chat. We want to be able to ask those questions of our panel today as we are talking about a very interesting topic. And with us today, first is our good friend, Mr. David Boyd of Inbound Communication. David, how the heck are you, brother?
I'm great. I fully intended to have my jacket on, Jimmy.
And so we coordinated on this and everything.
I know.
Next time.
I was lucky as busy as we've been at Call Inbound to get up and organize and dress today. So I really, it's always great to see you. And of course, we got to visit a little bit out at WorldPAC STX, and man, I tell you what, your wardrobe is always top notch.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. We're glad you are dressed today. Just don't stand up. Thank you very much. Right. And joining for us in our conversation today, David, is Tanika Haynes with Brown's Automotive. Tanika, how the heck are you, sister?
I'm doing good, guys. What's going on?
Staying alive. Great to see you also at STX. What did you think of the conference there with WorldPAC?
It was really, really good. I was not prepared for the size of it. There was a lot of people, and people were peopling. So once I got adjusted to all of the crowds and everything, I enjoyed it. I hadn't sat in a class in a really long time, like at an expo. I'm usually just walking around and being nosy, but I picked up some good nuggets. So it was great.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Well, if the STX was a large conference to you, I would suggest that you really prepare yourself months in advance if you come out to SEMA and Apex in Las Vegas.
I will be there this year. I keep hearing that, so I don't know what meds I need to be on to take to take it all in. But I'm excited about it.
We will talk about that because there is more than you can see within a week, and you really only have 3 days at Apex, 4 days at SEMA. You want to map out where you're going to go, who you're going to talk to, who you're going to see. And for you, Tanika, schedule some time to sit down and chill.
Yeah, I'm going to have to definitely do that. You're talking about scheduling times. I'm going to schedule time to go sit in the corner and recoup. So where's Tanika? She's in the corner.
Yep.
And it's scheduled time.
I'm going to work with you on that because I know the corners. I know the places where you can go and find some solitude.
All right.
Well, our conversation today is in preparation for making your shop better. David, I'm going to kick it over to you, brother. Let's start this conversation with Tanika.
Yeah, let's kind of move into this. You know, we're talking about communication, and there are so many facets that impact the customer experience. I think that it's important to know that, you know, there are tools, and there are from an owner and manager's perspective, and from a service provider's perspective, there are ways that we rally around making communication better. You know, one of the things that is common at all shops is the customer phone call.
Oh yeah.
So you winced a little bit.
Yeah.
How many times do we, you know, talk about our phone skills, getting better on the phone, understanding the customer, understanding their needs, addressing their needs, and this so much, you know, revolves around the phone calls and the way that our advisors and our front office team handles these. Maybe you have a CSR, maybe you have, you know, a service manager, but people are answering calls all day long, and this becomes important that we understand who's answering the phone, how they're communicating, what's the message that's being shared every time that phone rings. That, you know, we like to say that's money calling. So Tanika, let me just ask you, you know, what are some of the challenges that you see, or the successes that you have with your team when it comes to managing and getting better on our phones?
I want to start by saying, I think I listened to my first phone call at my meeting with Jennifer with the Institute. I'm currently coaching with the Institute, and that is life changing to listen to your team answer the phone. So if anybody's out there and they have not done that, they have not listened in on a phone call, figure out a way to do it. I don't know if it's going to be a little paper cup and a string, but figure out how to do it. And then listening to my own phone calls, and I'm the boss, right? I still cringe. And so you never know what's missing from those phone calls. What is standing out? My team, we would not even ask for the appointment. Like, would you like to bring this in today? You
Oh,
answer all the questions, they go through the scripts, but then we found that they were not saying, "Hey, would you like to get that done? Would you like to bring that in today or tomorrow? What works for you?" They were leaving it all to the client to say,
Mhm.
"What's next? What's next?" So they were
mm,
answering the phone and they were being very polite, but they were not closing. They didn't have a lot of words with closing. And so with inbound, I've been able to coach. When you listen to yourself and you're like, "Ooh, ooh," and you can say, "Do you see what you did there?" Or even because the team can listen to their own phone calls. "Oh, I see what I did there. I see where I dropped the ball." So that was opened up a whole bunch of eyeballs around here. It's like,
oh,
okay, it's Monday. It's time to listen to phone calls. Like, but you just increasingly get better over time.
oh, it's so true. And the ability, Tanika, the ability to have calls from today
Hmm.
or from yesterday or even the day before. There was a time a decade ago when we would have to listen as coaches. We would listen to calls, listen, 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 listen. We're trying to find a coaching call, a call that is coachable. And this might be a call from 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks
Hmm.
ago. The advisors are going, dude, oh man, that's forever ago. No, man, I don't do that anymore. I'm not like that. But David, I think you kind of solved a bit of that problem with your phone services.
Yeah, thanks. It's important to recognize that I think every owner I've ever talked with has a similar issue. And a lot of it revolves around time, right? Are we aware of what's actually happening
Yeah.
on the front line?
Hmm.
And some of it is I want to keep this a little bit at arm's length because I can tell you as an owner, I will have an emotional response when I listen to that phone call. And Tanika, you brought up a great point for owners and managers here that are on the phone. Please listen to your own calls.
Yeah.
Do it at least one time.
Yeah.
Well,
Kind of bite
twice.
the bullet. Just do it.
Yeah,
And,
just do
and
it.
and be ready. Just like, oh, that is me. Yeah, that is you.
Do
Yeah.
it twice because the first time that you listen to a call, it's going to just be weird, right? So listening to myself on recordings is always weird, but there's this heavy lift of time, right? Am I aware of what's actually happening on the front line and how are we interacting with customers? And then do I have a mechanism to understand what's my expectation as an owner? It's important to establish that expectation. Maybe you're working with a call coach, maybe you've been in trainings yourself. It's ideal to have a method by which you're going to measure your call handlers. And we want to be professional. We want to build confidence and build rapport with these customers. It doesn't have to be fast, but
Hmm.
typically, an incoming call from a customer is likely an appointment setting call or a status call. We're going to set that status call bucket aside for a second because we want to be in front of status calls instead of having customers call us. But if you're listening to these and you have that rhythm around it, we understand how these small habits can build on one another. Am I smiling when I answer the phone? There's something physically that happens when I physically smile. There's something that is noticeable in the way that I'm communicating. And am I clear? So, what are the expectations? If you watch your advisors, I have my little cordless handset here. If they tuck their phone in like this and they're trying to multitask, listen to those calls because likely it's very, very difficult to hear on the other side of this. So listening to calls helps us understand how we conduct ourselves, how we conduct business. How am I representing the business that I'm working at as a professional? But also, what is the customer hearing and what is the customer's experience? So these are important points, and it starts by listening. Jimmy, you brought up an important aspect here. Historically, we would listen to call after call after call after call to try to find something I can use to coach. So Tanika, you might do this. You've got a call recording system. It doesn't do much, but just record those calls. And now I have to go through this process to identify a coachable opportunity. And this is now, I think, where we can move effectively into technology, right? We all hear so much about AI today, and what's really nice about having, a phone system that records is now you have an asset, and you can use that asset to do something more with it. And we can use AI to help that heavy lift of time and, take 90% of the time requirement off. So instead of having to spend 30 minutes, I might have to spend 2 or 3 minutes to take that call, sit down with my service advisor, go through this, and have a meaningful, constructive conversation about the things that work well.
Yeah. I love, David, that your software makes it so easy to find these coachable calls so much faster. And Tanika, that's just got to be a lifesaver for you as well, coaching your service advisors.
It is. I remember speaking with a friend, fellow shop owner, and he's like, I need you to set aside a time. And so what I did is on my calendar on Wednesday, that's the day that I sit down and we go over phone calls. And so, you got the dashboard, and that dashboard to say, this is a coachable call. This is a coachable call. And it is a habit for me as the owner, manager, to make sure that I'm staying on top of it all the time, because we'll slip into old habits, right? So me listening to the calls and bringing the service advisor or bring Jade in and say, hey, let's listen to this. Let's see how we can get better. You continuously improve on it and you don't slide back into old habits, because I'm not on the phone as much anymore. If I have to answer the phone, I know personally, and everything's at stake for me, I slide back into old habits. So we all are capable of it. And so having that dashboard in front of us and said, hey, this is a call you need to look at. The service advisor or the person answering the phone does not feel like they're being picked on, but they're being improved upon. So look, I'm just lifting you up. This is what we can do. Do you see how we can make this better? And it's a we, it's a us, it's coachable, it's there, it's real. And I really enjoyed that part of the dashboard.
Oh, I love that. How often, Tanika, do you send, this is a really good call? This is a really good call. How
I
often
like a
do you
really
send
good
that to the
call.
team?
You know what? I
Yeah.
probably should do that more. But when I see a good call, I like to share it. And when I get a good review, like I literally just got a good review based off of a bad situation that we were able to turn around with proper communication. And the customer literally said, he's like, the communication, the problem was still there. He said, but the way they handled it and the communication was key. So he was not satisfied when he left, but the way that we dealt with it afterwards, and that recording of how we guided him through the process and how we apologized, we came up with a plan, apologized again, and kept it moving. And that was a great coachable call. It's like, this is how you handle a bad situation. Look how we won here. So yeah, those are just as important as the losses, as the bad calls. Hey, this is a good call. This
That
is a
balance is
call.
super
Yeah, it
important.
balances it.
Yeah.
And then, like, okay, I did that right. Even when that client is a client that does not belong to you, and you can hear them tell the customers, like, hey, you know what? I appreciate your call, but this isn't the place for you. And that's not the word for word. But hey, you handled that good. Thank you for saving us from a nightmare.
Yeah.
Share it with your
Amen.
team. So you got to share the wins and the misses.
Yeah. And for a lot of people, I think they struggle in the creative. So if they can hear it, that it's already been done, they can duplicate, they
Yeah.
can mimic, they can do the same thing over and over and over again. So the more we send these beautiful calls, oh my gosh, you guys did so well on this phone call. I love this part, this part, this part. They're able to duplicate that, and they'll do it over and over and over again. And then the mistakes that are being made become much less, because you're showing, you're mirroring to them. These are the really good calls that we want to hear.
And sharing that when you're going over a call, you got the good call here, we can work on this call, but this is another good call. We talk about giving that sandwich, and so
Yeah.
that's another opportunity you can give that good sandwich. So when it's time to come in on Wednesdays and listen to your phone calls, you're like, oh, I know I got one coming, and I think I know which one it is. And then you're like, yeah, but you got this one too, so you won here, and we missed on this one, but next time it's not happening. Right. So it's all in coaching.
Oh,
You
it's
just
so
said
true.
something that's super important. And I think I know which one this is.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there. I love the good with the bad. We'll talk about that more too, but creating the awareness. So consistency wins. And I'll say it again, be consistent with the process, because consistency wins. And when you have that rhythm where it's familiar and it's expected, we're going to sit down and we're going to listen to calls. We're going to go through this, identify the opportunities. It's not good and bad calls. It's, we call them top calls or champion calls and coachable calls. So a coachable call isn't inherently bad. Maybe we even got an appointment, right? but there's opportunity. So when we have that rhythm and it's expected, what's really important about what you just said is the awareness. So when I go to pick up that phone, is this the call that Tanika is going to be talking with me about tomorrow, or Wednesday, whatever our rhythm is? It will begin to create that moment of pause that, as an advisor, when I'm picking up that phone, I can take that breath. I can let that that technician that just blew me up,
Let
I
them
can
go.
let that slide off. I can shake that off, and
Yeah.
I can focus for a moment to make sure that that customer knows right at this moment they are absolutely the most important person to me right now.
Mhm.
So that's an important message to convey over the phone. The way that we speak, the words that we use, my excitement and enthusiasm about being on that call all comes through. So as we get through this rhythm and we develop the consistency and it becomes normal, now I've got that awareness on my team that, hey, this next call I'm taking, I'm going to have the moment of pause to focus, because this might be the next one that we're reviewing. I want this to be a positive call, that Tanika's coming to me and saying, you did really well on this one. Let's continue to develop this and replicate the things that are working well, instead of, hey, there's some opportunity here. You didn't ask for the appointment. You were, pricing over the phone. You said no. No comes out in a lot of ways, doesn't it, Tanika? Where
Oh yeah.
we might be telling somebody, I'm really busy, right? Or we're really busy right now. I can't get you in until Friday.
Yeah.
That's we might as well just say no. I can't
Yeah,
help you.
yeah. That's all they heard was the no. Even if you give, and everybody knows that I'm big on no's. Like, I can give you a no, but there's some healthy no's, but then there's some no's, and you get the customer saying, "Hey, my brakes are making the noise, and it just started." And he's like, "Oh no, I can't see that to Friday." He's like, "Yeah, but I'm going to die before Friday. I want to see somebody now." So you have to learn how to coach someone and say, "Yes, so bring that in. Let's take a look at what you've got, and then we'll come up with a plan." You didn't promise that it was going to be today or tomorrow, but you said, "Bring it in. I'm worried about your safety. Let's see what
Yep.
you've got. Let's see if you should really be concerned about that check engine light. It might be an evap code. They don't know that, but go ahead and bring them in." So, and then like you said, the cadence in it. I'm not going to make you any promises over the phone. And I would literally say that, "Hey, I don't want to disappoint you by making a promise that I can't keep. So don't
Yeah.
don't put me in that hole. But I need you to go ahead and bring that into me as soon as you can. And let's scan it. Let's see what you've got. And let's see if you should really be worried, if you can make that trip, or if we need to bring you in right away. We will help you come up with a plan." So just that solid no, I'll see you Friday.
Eh,
Eh, no, you
Yeah.
won't. Like, so that's important.
It becomes very collaborative in what you just said. Hey, let's make this about you. Let's make this about your safety and your confidence to drive that vehicle. Maybe you got to get across town and your commute is 30 minutes. Let's make sure that your vehicle is safe. And then once you're here and we make sure you're safe, let's talk about when we're going to have that on the schedule. We'll get that vehicle in and
What are the
repaired.
next steps? So let's go ahead and let's get your nerves calm, and then let's come up with the next step. Let's come up with a plan. Us, we. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you talk about building a solid foundation for this, the solid foundation for their skills, so that the ongoing training you're doing really builds on that foundation. We've got a 3-day service advisor with the Institute. We're going to give a shout out to the Institute here right now. So everybody grab out your smartphones, scan the QR code if your service advisor needs a solid foundation. Thank you, David. If you need a solid foundation and you need to start with, get registered. I know you've been to a couple of these, David, because you talked about all the skills here just really, really well. If your service advisor needs that and you need to go from 0 to hero very quickly, this is an intensive that you want to send your service advisor to. And it will be at headquarters in Ogden, Utah. Fly right into Salt Lake, and we got you set up there in Ogden. So yes,
it's a beautiful drive up from the airport. This class is it will help establish the fundamentals to build on. So you come here, it's boot camp, right? We're going to make sure that we're establishing the expectation and give you something to build on as the owner. Send your service advisors in here. They'll get those fundamentals, and then you'll have these mechanisms to improve them over time. I promise you, it'll be a real game changer for your front line.
Well, you know what? I want to piggyback on that. And I wasn't coached to saying this. If they've already been send them again.
There you go.
Send them again, because here's the thing that I know, and I'm just going to make it simple. I want you to think about your favorite movie. Like when I was in the 20s, for me, it was Friday, the movie Friday. And then we watched that movie every Friday after work with the crew that I work with. And it was just the most ignorant movie and the best movie for my generation. Each time I watched that movie, I would see a different thing. So I want you to think about your favorite movie or your favorite comedy. Each time you watch it, you will pick up something else. So it was like, oh, I didn't see that last time. So even when it comes to training, hey, I did this 3-day class and I did it a year ago. I grew.
Do it again.
Do it again. Do it again. You're never too much. There's never too much coaching. So just do it again, and you'll see it from a different angle. I just wanted to say that, because there's been some classes that I take, and not just this one, but other classes. Like, let me take that class again, and you're like, aha! I didn't remember that from last time. I didn't implement that from last time, because you guys tell us, and coaches will tell you, just go and implement one thing. One thing. Watch those changes, and then the next time you take the class, let's do one more thing, maybe two, and get a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah. So speaking of training, ASTA is coming up here real soon. Tanika.
Real soon. We're less than
Let's give
30
them a
days
shout
out.
out.
Shout out to ASTA. Those are the people, not the people that made me, but my just one thing that I took away from there each time has helped build me to where I am. And I cannot say I would not be where I was without them, but I would not be where I am without them. From those people that I met, the village that I met, meeting you, meeting my first coach, just meeting my industry brothers and sisters that I can call on at any time when I'm about to flip out or when I have a win. Because as owners, and when you're a little higher, you can't share your wins with everybody without some jealousy. True. So when you have a win and you have that community to call on. So ASTA is the place to be, September 24th to 26th, right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I hope somebody shows up. And I want to meet some. Well, I know Jimmy will be there. You will not miss him.
He'll have the jacket.
He will have plenty of jackets on. And it's a fun atmosphere, lots of community, lots of learning and growing.
Yeah. We're going to have a jacket war. So anybody who wants to play, David, you're bringing your jacket. So who wore it best?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that we were going to be able to carve out some time to do the who wore it best.
Oh,
I think
always.
So Benji will be involved. Brett will probably be involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mike Allen.
Mike. Mike. Yep.
I feel like we should have a girls' version of this because, if the women got involved,
we always lose.
Just throw you guys under the bus.
It's true. We tried that, Tanika, and you swept it. Yeah. You swept it. There was no competing with Tanika.
I don't want to do that to you. So we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll make a couple phone calls and text messages and see what's up.
Yeah.
Speaking of phone calls,
I
have a question for you. Yeah. That's I couldn't have asked for a better softball there, but that's great. Thinking about the coaching process, I had mentioned before, it can seem a little uncomfortable, even as an owner. Listen to 2 calls because that first one you're going to be so consumed by how weird I sound on the phone, right? So, but when you started this with your team, how was it received? What were some of the challenges? What feedback did you get about listening to calls and going through the analysis?
So I want to say that when I first did it in coaching, so in a group setting, and you're listening to your team, so they call the institute a call and they'll record a call. And so it's like, oh, well, this time she did this, and this is the excuse. You want to come up with excuses. You want to defend yourself. I want to defend my shop. And so that service advisor is going to want to defend him or herself. Like, oh, well, that customer and this was that was like, no. So you get past that. And it's like, okay, like I said, you give the sandwich. Okay, so this is a great call. You tell me what you could have done better in this call. Because I don't want to be because if you go into attack mode and say, oh, you should do this better and you didn't follow the script and you're going to get somebody that's going to put up a guard. And it's like, whoa, I did my best. So I was like, I know you did your best on this one call and you did a great job on this call. What happened, brother? Ball's in your court. Tell me how you can improve on this. What do you need from me to help you improve here? Was there a distraction? What was the problem? So I kind of feel like I can teach them to self-coach.
Yep.
I'm gonna give you a whole toolbox. You've got this toolbox. You know what a good call sounds like. You also have a mirror. There's a mirror right there. Look at yourself. You've got reminders. I've got sticky note reminders on each person's. Hey, don't forget to ask for the sale. What
Yeah.
happened? Oh man, I was distracted. I should have. Yep, you should have put the mouse down. You should have put the mouse down. So usually people will first get defensive. Same.
Mhm.
Then the defense mechanism starts to come down. Said, all right, okay, so how do we fix this so next time I cannot find a bad phone call?
Bingo.
Yeah.
I love it. I
It's-
love that you have a mirror there and you have sticky notes there helping as well, Tanika.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Because we
And
forget, and it's okay because
we
we
do.
get busy, but the
And
more we work on it,
I'm certain that you guys have heard this before, that a fake smile is better than a real frown.
yes.
Yep.
Yes. And I'm really good at that. And so I've learned that because I've been doing it a very long time. So people know that I can really I could like really fuss you out and I would sound so sweet because I'm smiling at you the whole time. But you know what, Jimmy? I think that was the stupidest thing you've ever said.
And if you do it with a smile, you
And
can
you're
get
doing
away
it with
with
a smile. And when you're shaking your head, so that smile makes a difference. And
It
when
does.
I'm picking up the phone out of an emergency, if they are busy up front and I'll see that phone ringing and I pick it up and I'm not ready personally, I'm not ready to answer that phone and it's a client that knows me and I'm not smiling, I will get hey, Tanika, what's wrong?
You
Because
okay?
you're okay. And I'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I was distracted. Because that's usually what happens. You're distracted, or that technician just rubbed you the wrong way, or something's happened at home. So, but once you put that smile on, you just fake it till you make it. And I usually don't like to say that, but sometimes you do have to fake it till you make it. Like, yeah, absolutely, and use those positive words. Absolutely, let's look into that for you. Yeah,
Love it. Love it. We talk about the phone call and how much it's worth. Bimmer PhD Motorsports is saying, can we dig into that a little bit? How much does it cost to get that phone to ring? How much does it cost to acquire a new customer? You talk about the mindset, you talk about the service advisor and the smile
Mhm.
that's needed to be there, fake or real. How much is that phone call worth, Tanika? Have you analyzed any of that in your
So
shop?
that was actually a something we did in the 20 group with my coach Jen. We went through that and we calculated how much it cost to get that phone to ring. And I really wish I was prepared and I had that number for you. But once you realize that number, share it with your team.
Yeah.
And then the institute probably has blueprint on how to figure that out. So you're looking at how much your website is, your Google ads, any form of marketing that you have out there, down to the phone bill.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to make that phone ring? And once you see it as the owner, you're going to be like, whoa. And you share that with the team. Like, every time that phone rings, it costs me this. And then also think about your ARO.
Mhm.
Bingo.
And every time
Yep.
we
Yep.
do not get a yes and we don't get that client through the door, we lost $850, potential $850, potential $1,100.
Yep.
So once we start thinking about, everything's not about money. It is.
How we keep score.
It's how we keep the score.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about, we've got the metrics on the dashboard. Numbers don't lie. People do. Your emotions will.
Yeah.
It costs me $75 every time that phone rings. And when you ring it and when you land that deal, that's a potential $850 or whatever your ARO is, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And how long does it take to get that one client to get through the door? And also think about how long you can hold on to them as a client. How many years?
What's the
are you
lifetime value?
What's the
of the
lifetime
client?
of that client?
Yep.
So that smile when you answer the phone, yeah, that's worth a lot of money.
Tens of thousands of dollars.
Tens of thousands. So go ahead and put your Vaseline on your teeth
Mm-hmm.
and start smiling.
Yeah, that's an
Yep.
old theater trick. Are you
Yes.
are you a musical theater person?
No, but I just
Where are
know
you
about
pulling that
Vaseline
from?
on your teeth, and because you get tired of smiling. At the conference, you have this whole muscle thing. You're like,
Yeah,
keep smiling, smiling, smiling.
that's right.
Those
Dory.
are important numbers to know how much does it cost to get that phone to ring.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, it can be several $100s, depending on really all of those factors around generating those phone calls, and then what that ties into when the phone does ring, and we don't ask for the appointment. Has that $850 or $1,100 just walked over to my competitor across town?
Yeah.
But it also sets the stage when we're talking about coaching and development to bring it back to what's in it for me. As a service advisor, most high performing shops are incentivizing their advisors on these GP numbers, and there might be other metrics on Google reviews, maybe have spiffs for these different things. It all requires us to generate the appointments and get those vehicles in so that we can have an inspection and we can generate the estimate and ultimately have a sale, and then make this an amazing experience for the customer so they're going to come back next time. At the very front end of the phone call, it takes X number of dollars to make the phone ring. When that phone rings, the customer, if they're a first-time caller, they're likely, we as a business are likely setting the stage within that first 15 to 20 seconds for the length of our relationship. So based on those initial interactions, we're going to begin setting the stage of how well this customer visit is going to go. How much we're developing trust with this customer. Do they trust me as an advisor? Do they trust this business that we're experts and we're going to help them? And we're going to do so in a fair and meaningful way. And then also, we're going to set that basis for a repeat customer. So that's where we get into the longevity of our relationship. Interestingly enough, so much of this happens at the very first moments of that very first phone call. And when we acknowledge that as a service advisor, I'm like, oh, that does tie back to the paycheck I get. As a business owner, wow, that ties back into the stickiness of my customers. I love, repeat customers. I love repeat business. So we want to drive these skills up front. Tanika, you talked about, sitting down and going through some of these calls and the service advisor reaction. Have you really developed and, share your expectations on how you'd like the phone answered? I'm not asking about a script, but like that flow, right? We don't want to create robots. What have you done when you train and develop your team on, here's what I would like to hear from you?
So I haven't honed that in 100%, but I do know that we want to thank them for calling. We want to know, how did you find out about us? Is this your first time calling? How'd you hear about us? So we can track that, right? Was it a repeat? Was it a neighbor? Was it a Google? Was it a postcard? How did you hear about me? What can I help you with? And how soon can I get to it? Can you bring that in today or tomorrow? And smile. So I have these little things that I want them to say that's on the side of the computer. And I don't want you to sit there and read it and say, oh, well, yes, sir. How can I help you today? I want it to flow naturally, because that's who we are as a shop. We're not a scripted shop. We're a bunch of goofy people. Actually, we just happen to fix cars. And that's who we are. And I want that to come through. I want you to be friendly. I want you to, when they come in with the cat or the dog or whatever, please not a cat, but the dog, I want you to put in the notes, this is that customer's name, and this is what their dog's name. If they refer to their car, my car's name is Perline. If you called my car by his name, I'm not taking it nowhere else. So I want you to build that relationship. And so I don't have a script and I don't have a formula yet, and maybe I should work on that. And we do have like a SOP. Probably should do a better job at that. But then what you just said made me raise my eyebrow. Like, I should do better with that. But we do have some things that are non-negotiables.
You've got your flow there, which is great. And I think you're doing better in that than some owners that we talk with. I encourage everybody to have a flow, right? We want to kind of go through the conversation. I'll tell you the number one deficit that I hear within the first probably 10 seconds of a phone call is asking for the customer name, right? So thank you for calling ABC Automotive. How may I help you? Yeah, I can help you with that. My name's David. What's your name? It's so simple. And I listen to call after call after call. I mean, they pop out because of our AI call analysis, but where we go through this whole process, and we've had a 90-second call or a 2-minute long phone call, and at no point ask the customer name.
Right. And then you assume that the name on a caller ID is their name. That's a problem too. I know that I was doing it as well. I would do it as well.
Yeah.
But and with that, I had a little challenge, say, hey, I want to see you guys' name on the review. And it really bothers me when a client calls to check on their car and I have to answer the phone. Hey, who was your service advisor? I don't know. What? They need to know your name. So I had to make sure that everybody had their own business card. So when the car was dropped off, hey, my name is Stuart. this is who you should call to check on your car. Everybody here can help you, but I'm the main person. So I think a lot of people just don't do that and say, hey, well, my name is Tanika. Who am I speaking with? Great. Have you been here with us before?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it doesn't pop up on the caller ID, have you been here with
Yeah.
us before? But the caller ID pop up, that's a game changer. Am I skipping ahead? Should we not go that far yet?
No, you're fine. Yeah.
Thank you,
just to
David.
be ready. Yeah, be ready when David Boyd calls Brown's Automotive and you call and say, Brown's Automotive, this is Tanika. Hey, David, how can I help you today? What is that? What are you doing? You knew I was calling. You know, yeah, call ID exists. People forget about that.
Yeah.
But
They do.
they do. But it's just extra special. And that's what the call ID. I know one thing that I do when the customer's walking in. And if I know I have a blue Toyota Corolla coming in at 9:00, what's this coming in?
Yeah.
Hey, Mrs. Such and Such. Good morning. Oh, hey. Instead of saying, can I help you? Yes, you can help me. That's why I walked through the door.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Or
Mary Jane.
hang on a second. I'll be with you in a second.
Yeah. No.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said about customer service, and there's a lot to be said about calling people by their name.
Amen.
Yeah.
It creates familiarity.
Yes.
And when we have familiarity, we have a relationship. It's potentially implied, but people love to do business with the folks that they have a relationship with, and they're inclined, you know, this is the fun thing about consumer behavior and human behavior is when I have a great experience, I want to rally my friends around that too. I want to include them in the joy that I get to experience when I come see Tanika and her team. Yeah. So I'm going to be much more likely to tell folks about it. If I have a meh average experience, it's probably not going to come up in conversation. I'm not going to stick my neck out there. But how do we do that? Well, we address people by their name. We know when they're calling, right? I might even be pulling that up in my shop management system or my CRM. Just the second the phone rings, it's going to pop and present that information. Yeah, I saw you were in three months ago, and we looked at, you know, XYZ in your vehicle. Should we add some additional time to take care of that this time? Right? We have an awareness. They have confidence in us. We know them as a person. We know their vehicles, and now we're joining together with our customers at a common goal, right? And it comes back to their safety.
Well, so what'll happen is you'll get a client, and sorry about the background noise. You'll get a client, and they're not thinking about their car. They've grown to love you. They've grown to know you. They're knowing you by your name. And then you made the recommendations last time. They trust you enough that they are just going to be like, okay, whatever. I'll talk to you about it next time. Tanika's going to remember that for me. Say, hey, Miss Mary Jane, you remember we talked about, I don't remember we talked about, well, here's a copy. I'm going to send that over to you. We're going to look at these things again. It's just like having a whole system. And then you become that person. It's like, I don't have to remember what my car needs because Tanika and her team have the history and they know me by my name and they're going to take care of me.
The paradigm shift there is as a service advisor, I'm the expert. As a service manager, I'm the expert, right? You've come to me because of my expertise. And I'm sharing the belief that you want to be safe and you want to care for your vehicle. So allow me to make these recommendations. Allow me to keep those notes about our previous interactions. So when we meet again, we can make sure that we're not starting from zero, that we already have this information available, and we're going to improve that experience. Yeah. On the call coaching side of it, I think at some level you've kind of normalized it in your shop, and I'd love to learn more about how did you do that? It's not typical, I would say, that people are just like rallying around. Let's listen to calls, right? Because part of it is, the exposure or this kind of fear of judgment. But once you normalize that and make it consistent, I'd love to know how you've done that and keep the big brother mentality out the door.
Well, we've got cameras and we've got these things recording the calls. And first of all, these calls are not being recorded to get you. These calls are recorded to cover your butts from that crazy person. That's where they didn't say it. This call are recorded to make you better. I remember Chad say, hey, just put it on the calendar. Just put it on the calendar. It's like having that one-on-one for the first time. Nobody knows what to say or to do. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm just trying to make you better. So I listen to my call. Be vulnerable. Hey,
Yeah.
You don't want to listen to your call. I didn't want to listen to my own call. But let's do this. It's just on the calendar. And like I said, the defense will just break down a little bit at the time. And I found that with my one-on-ones again. Like we do it first Monday, one-on-one. If I was late or if I skipped the one-on-one, they're like, well, I didn't get my one-on-one. Am I in trouble? They look forward to it. Everybody wants positive reinforcement. So if you keep
Amen.
it positive, and then some like, hey, I looked at 10 of your calls, and out of the 10, only 3 of them were coachable. Or hey, you remember when we started out, how you would have like 11 bad calls out of 20? Dude, you only got 2 this time. So make sure we measure it. Okay. Schedule it, measure it, keep it going. No, you're uncomfortable, they're uncomfortable, and just say, I don't want to do this. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to lift that. Well, a lot of people don't want to lift the heaviest weight for the muscle gain. It's going to be
Mhm.
painful, but it's going to get easier. It's going to be easier for me and you as the coach and the coachee, or as the coacher, whatever. So, I mean, I don't know if there's an easy way to put it, but I just know that you just keep doing it. You be consistent and you let them know if you're uncomfortable. Like I hear shop owners say, how do you start this one-on-one stuff? How do you start this coaching stuff? You just start it. And you just like, ooh, hey, I don't know what I'm doing either. Let's do this together.
Yeah.
Let's get better together. Like I'm listening to my calls too. We're all getting better together. So I would just say, start it, put it on a schedule, make it pop up, show up. Wednesday, coaching calls.
Jimmy,
Schedule
one
it,
of
it's
the,
ready to go.
yeah, that's perfect. I love the perspective too. And Jimmy, one of the, the things that I share with owners consistently is be consistent. So
Mhm.
I think the technology drives that, right? We're delivering an email with, here's a top call, here's a coachable call, here's some additional information. So delivering that is important. And the technology really helps us drive that consistency in this case. So when that email comes out, here's a call example, you don't have to do anything with that today, or you can. If you don't, there's another one tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
And we want to create that normalcy. And this is the part that drives change is one, we're making this normal. And
Yep.
Tanika, you were just talking about that, right? We're going to put this on the calendar. People begin to expect it, right? It becomes normal for them. And that's a super important milestone in the coaching, training, and development process is that sense of normalcy in the shop. And then understanding the expectations and, where do we have the opportunities? Tanika, one thought that comes to mind here is, you mentioned at the beginning, like ask for the appointment. As you began doing this, what did you begin to understand and see happening across, the phone calls and across your organization? What patterns began to emerge? And really, what's that aha moment you had where you're like, this is bringing value to me while I'm bringing value to my team?
Oh, that's a good question. So when we start asking for the appointment, you know what? The calendar filled up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the marketing was working. And but the big aha moment, ooh, that's a good question, David. You got me on that one. You should have texted me that before you asked me that one. I've been ready.
My
What's wrong with you?
apologies.
Aha moments with phone calls. I don't know. I can't answer that one for you, but what I do want to say before I forget don't get the chance to say it. When they're sitting beside each other up front and they're listening, because everybody can hear everybody's phone calls. I can
Mhm.
hear them say, that was a good one. What was that one about? Or like Stuart would tell Haley, he's like, she's had a lot of good phone calls here lately. I can hear the change in the way she's handling the phone calls. So again, may have got a little bit off subject, but them helping each other and encouraging each other. Maybe they can only hear one end of the phone call, but there's some keywords like, oh, you killed that one.
Yeah.
You killed that one. Or making that sale on the phone call. I heard
Yep.
how you delivered that DVI. I heard that delivery. You gave them the good sandwich. And they said yes. Like this morning, she said yes to everything. God, it's working. Imagine that. Imagine
Love it.
doing a training, following the instructions, and it actually working.
Gotta
That
love
really is
that.
the aha moment too, right?
Yeah.
You're going through, you're driving consistency, you have, some form of flow and expectations, and you're learning from one another. I love the fact that they're
Mhm.
listening at least to one side of each other's conversations in
Right.
real time.
I
And
think
then
I'm
giving
lucky
it
with that with my
positive
team.
feedback.
I
Yeah.
think I'm lucky with because they're not in competition. And he was like, how do you keep them? I don't know. God bless me with that, but I'm just lucky that way. What, encouraging each other. So
It's good. That's good, Tanika. You've set up a solid culture there, solid people. They've got great results. You're listening to the phone calls, consistency, like David's talking about. You know, hearing one side of the conversation helps a little bit, but if you as an owner, if you're only listening to half the conversation and you are not booked up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in advance, chances are you're missing the other half of the conversation and you need to listen to it. So you do need a device, a program, a hardware. You need a phone system that allows you to listen to all sides of the conversation. You've just got to be able to do that. You got to be able to do that. Now, I'm going to give another shout out here as we work in our marketing. So a lot of times I hear shops talking about their marketing. Well, my marketing's not working. It's not working. It's not working. A lot of times it comes back to the phone call. How well is the phone call being handled or treated from an advisor? But speaking to the marketing part, we've got a shout out here for the Institute is holding a marketing intensive this October 26, 27, 28. Tanika, I just got off the phone with Brett Fadley. He is signed up. He is coming out for Mars conference. So if you want to get signed up as well, sister, we'd love to have you out here.
I got to get a real flashy jacket for that one.
Uh-huh.
Pull out
Right behind that
rhinestones.
Mars conference. So if you got your smartphone there in front of you, grab out your smartphone, turn on your camera. There's the QR code right there.
Oh,
Flash the
man.
QR code and get registered. The Mars conference is going to be awesome. It is a conference where when you are done with the workshops, it's a 3-day conference. When you're done with that 3-day conference, you have 2027 mapped out, ready to go, and you know what you're going to be doing month to month throughout that whole next year. It's super awesome. I love the Mars conference.
I do too. I was at the
David
last
will be
one.
there.
Let me just say I was there as a participant at the last Mars conference.
Mhm.
And one, getting to interact with so many friends across the industry was great. But also, I don't own a shop. I own a communication business. I took so much away from that I immediately applied. I can speak from my own experience, and I know many of the participants there that took those components right back to their shop and made immediate changes. So it is. It's not just a workshop where you're going to come away with a flashy workbook and put that in a dusty cabinet somewhere and never do anything with it. I promise you, you attend the Mars conference and you will come away energized and ready to make a real difference in your shop.
Yep, for sure. For
All
sure.
right. I'm never going to be at work if I keep following you around, Jimmy.
Just imagine your wardrobe though.
I know.
It'll be so good.
It'd be so good. But no, we'll see. I'm thinking about that. I thought about what we talked about the other day, but we're not going to get off subject because I do that a lot.
It can happen.
Yeah. David, what else? What else can we talk about with phones, phone systems, programs? Can we track our marketing using your phone system?
Yeah, just on that very note, we'll talk about this a little bit this year at Mars as well. But market tracking is important, right? We spend a lot of money, and understanding the performance is important. So with our phone system, we can provide market tracking numbers if you have different campaigns, mailers, text messaging, website related leads that you're generating. We can certainly provide unique numbers. The customer experience is the same, and the shop experience is the same, except you have all of this additional data about how many calls were generated. So that's important to know, and it's also important to use that as a good baseline of information about your capacity to manage phone calls in your shop. So when we look at some of the other performance metrics, how long does it take us to answer the phone? Are we answering the phone? Right? In order to ask somebody for the appointment, we have to first answer the phone. And if you're spending this money on marketing campaigns, there are a variety of reasons. And I'll just tell you one example that I hear often from owners is, they put out a marketing number and they, advisors might believe that it's generating bad leads, something like that. So they won't answer that phone. But we want to understand the behavior of what's going on. Is it something that we can control? Are we effective in the marketing campaign? what information do I have around that? And then additionally, running that into the call analysis so that we understand, are we converting these, right? If we're generating the leads, are we actually generating appointments? And then from that point, if you know you have the appointment, you can measure your performance go forward. So there's a lot of data that we can capture other than just sending in all of these phone calls to the main number.
I love it. I love it. I love the phone is such a powerful tool. I love when we can multitask that tool and do multiple things with the same tool. Very cool. Very cool. But if there are any questions, comments, concerns from our audience, we would love for you to type those in. If there's questions for David or questions for Tanika, go ahead and type those into the comments section. While they're doing that, I will say, if you are trying to keep up with me, good luck. But you can find it on our website. The website page is wearetheinstitute.com/events. That's all of the events that are coming up here in the very near future, where you will see the Institute participating and locking arms with the industry to help elevate the industry. Our motto, our mantra is better business, better life, better industry. We're going to lock arms with you as a shop owner so that you have a better business. The net result of you having a better business is that you have a better life. Mm-hmm. And not just you have a better life, your advisors have a better life, your technicians have a better life, your partners have a better life, your spouse, your advisors, significant others, their spouses, their technicians and their spouses, and their children. Everyone elevates, everyone breathes better, everyone sees a bluer sky and greener grass when we have a better business, a better life. And our commitment is that we will help this become a better industry. Looks like there's a couple of comments that did come through. Oh no, that's Raleigh posting out the webpage for the events. Yeah, super awesome. Super awesome. Last final thoughts, final ideas. David, we'll start with you, Tanika, then to you, that we can help this industry grow.
Tanika, thank you for joining today and sharing your experience. It's super valuable for me as a provider to our industry, that we understand how we're driving impact. So thank you again for that. Thank you for your trust and support. For the audience, Call Inbound is our company, callinbound.com. We provide communication services, call tracking information, advisor call handling performance metrics, and AI call analysis. But above all, we're part of the industry, right? So I got my start with the Institute in a 20 group, got very ingrained in the industry while I was building my company. And I'm proud to say that I'm part of the not just the automotive aftermarket, but the service repair industry.
I want to make sure you know that I appreciate your company. I don't know how many employees you have, but it seems like they're all just sitting in the same room waiting to help. I can send an email and I get a response so quickly, and it's always been consistent, great service. So I do appreciate that. And anybody that's on the fence, whether I'm like, I don't want to listen to phone calls. That's just another thing for them to do it. Listen to the phone calls. Start with yourself. Start with yourself as the owner. I always say start with yourself. I always assume that I'm the problem, then I can work from there. Listen to your phone calls. And if you think you're good and you listen to them, you realize how bad you are, think about how bad your team is if you're not coaching them. So get them in coaching call services or whatever. Listen to the phone calls. Get everything in order. And not only will you make better sales and better connections, more appointments, but I really, truly believe that it could save you a lot of heartache. Yeah, they record bad calls too. Bad calls from the other end that you need. I hate to say for court, but anything's like, hey, sir, we've got that call recorded and that didn't go quite the way you're saying it's going to go. So that's another part to it that could be very important in your shop.
We call that the replay booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take that to the replay booth.
Yeah.
It's an important to CYA. You got to cover your own behind.
That's a great tool for that.
Yep. For sure. Well, with that, thank you very much. David, thank you for being here. Tanika, thank you very much for being here.
Anytime.
Look forward to seeing both of you very soon at our next conference and to give you a big hug and say hello. Bring your best jackets, David.
And say less. Say less.
Yes. Very much looking forward to working with all of you in the very near future. And for everyone that is listening, thank you so much for joining us today as we talk about building a better business, a better life, and a better industry. My name is Jimmy Lee. I'm with the Institute for Automotive Business Excellence, and we're here to lock arms with you and make a difference. Click on it. Come find us. We're here to help. How can we help you? Let's make a difference. Talk to you soon.